So this is how I trim my natural hair, obviously by the title, girl. We are starting in the back right section like usual. I'm splitting that into two and I am pinning the other half out of the way. I am detangling my hair with a wide tooth comb first and then with a Denman brush. I wanted to comb it out so that it's in an afroed out state. I got this method from Tracy from Kiss, so I will link that video down below so you can see. Here I'm showing you guys that I'm pretty much at armpit length, and I did a trim maybe a couple weeks ago, but it wasn't that in depth. I trimmed my hair in twists. This trim is a little more detailed, and I am going through and just making sure that I'm getting out all of the single strand knots and straggly ends. This would be the second trim since I went natural a year ago, but my first major trim where I'm actually going in and cutting out a lot of hair. And my first trim, I probably cut off about an inch. This trim, it is probably an inch to an inch and a half, and it is not the same all over in every section. I just go by how it feels. I can admittedly say that this section, I probably cut off too much, but I don't notice it as like a big chunk missing out of my hair. So yeah, that happened. I am just going through section by section, and I don't really notice the length being gone. My hair is freshly shampooed and slightly damp here. It has started to dry out, and now I am just going to deep condition with the TGIN Honey Hair Mask. After the product is evenly distributed and I feel like everything is moisturized, I am just going to twist that up and then Bantu knot it and clip it out of the way, and then move on to the next section. So out of the year of me growing my hair, I have probably lost 2 to 2.5 inches of length. But again, I don't really feel it, and I still think it was much needed. So this is how much hair I lost from shedding, which is just a regular wash day. And this is how much hair I ended up cutting off, which I don't think is that bad. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ebony, and this video is going to be my 1 year natural hair update. What? Can y'all believe that? I can't believe that. It's been a year, a whole year though, Technically, the day that I big chopped on doesn't exist this year and won't for another 3 years, but girl, we're just gonna pick February 28th, the end of Black History Month, to do my natural hair updates. So it has been an entire year and I'm just gonna share with all of you guys everything that I learned and some things that you should avoid. So this list isn't in any particular order. These are just things that I've noticed as a thread throughout my natural hair journey, stuff that I would warn you about or just advise you about because it's stuff that I learned along the way. So, you know, I'm just shouting back over my shoulder. If you aren't at your 1 year mark, then these are the things that I've learned. And this is 2 years of hair growth. I did transition for a year first. So let's get started. Number one, I know this is going to be basic to a lot of naturals, but wide tooth combs are your friend. Even though I have advised a lot of you guys to use wide tooth combs on your hair, and I have used them on my hair as well, I think I got caught up in a lot of the detangling tools that you're supposed to use to detangle your hair for easier detangling time, days, whatever. I got caught up and eventually I figured out that my Dim and brush was claiming too many hairs, more than I wanted it to. So I did end up taking a couple rows out like Natural 85 had suggested. I do still feel like I need a Dim and brush with all the rows in it for curl definition and other things, but yeah. Wide tooth combs, keep it simple. Keep it simple. I started using wide tooth combs again and it makes all the difference, y'all. All of the difference. Number two, even if you have really thick hair, you don't have to be as heavy-handed as you think you need to be. A little product does go a long way, and I found myself going through products a lot faster than I wanted to. Correction. A lot faster than my budget would allow, and I started using less and getting the same results. So you don't have to like pack on the product like you think you need to. You don't have to. You don't have to. I know you feel like you need to, but you don't have to. So save your coins and your product by not being heavy-handed. Scale it back and see if you get the same results, because you just might. Number three, patience is key. If you were ever irritated, annoyed, bothered, just in a bad mood, depressed, lonely, Trump is president, do not detangle your hair, okay? Do not try to do your hair. If you are just having a bad day, put it off until later, okay? Braid it up, plait it up, throw a wig on, throw a hat on, something. But if you are in a bad mood, don't try and do your hair. It's just going to lead to more breakage and a longer day than it needs to be. You kind of do need to be in the mood to do your hair, because if you are frustrated on any level, it can be detrimental. So be in a good mood when it's wash day, because even if you're stalling, patience is necessary if you want to retain any kind of length. 4, you will have puffy roots. I, with my hair type, have puffy roots, and for the longest I have been trying to figure out why my roots were puffy and the longer parts of my hair, the older parts of my hair, were more defined. And basically the older parts of your hair are more porous. They absorb more product, they absorb more water, and they can become more defined because they are old, just from elements, from styling, from anything. And the roots of your hair, that hair shaft is more sealed and it's a lot less porous. So when you put products like from root to tip and it doesn't really seem like it's doing nothing for your roots, it's because your hair just coming out of your scalp is a lot healthier. Your hair shaft is a lot more sealed and it doesn't absorb as well. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do always advise using heat whenever you do apply deep conditioners and things, but that is why I have puffy roots. That is why a lot of naturals have puffy roots, and I don't think you should want to try and get rid of them. Definition from root to tip is cool, but puffiness will exist. 5, Do not get caught up in the hair typing system. I know a lot of new naturals do this and they think that it's important. It's not that important. If you know porosity and density and coarseness, all of those things are a better determining factor if you're watching anyone on YouTube as to whether or not you should listen to their product recommendations or styling methods. Now, when it comes to styling methods, I do think texture is a bigger factor, because if old girl with like 2C hair was just like, no big deal, all you have to do is straighten it, your straighten and my straighten are two completely different stories, okay? But when it comes to products, I have listened to women of all ethnicities and backgrounds recommend things for me, and they did work. So don't get caught up in hair typing. It's not that beneficial. 6. Finger detangling, but detangling in general, pre-pooing, and protective styling are all still a struggle for me. 1 year in, 2 years of hair growth, and I somehow have not managed to get these things down. I don't know what's wrong, but finger detangling I don't feel like I can do, because maybe after my hair gets longer it'll be easier, but even right now with 2 years of hair growth, I can tell you it ain't. I need a brush to get all of the hairs out. I need a brush to get all of the hairs out, all the shedded hairs. I cannot just finger detangle. That's not an option for me. Pre-pooing, I know I should have probably pre-pooed more than I did this past year, and watching Natural 85's videos, I feel like I definitely need to start doing it more often, because it does make a difference. Initially, I kind of got lazy and I'm like, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. You should do it. It makes your wash days even longer, but you will see the difference. And as far as protective styling, you guys know I live in Pennsylvania. It does get cold here in the winter, like now, even though the past few days have been like super warm, which is kind of creepy. Hashtag global warming problems. But it does get cold here, and still I have not mastered a style that like tucks all of my ends away that I can wear up under a hat or anything. I wanted to try to get into wigs, you know, because weaves I feel like are really expensive and nothing ever really popped off because of it. So yeah, I'm not a protective styler. I hope to get into it more, but I think that might also come with length as well. 7. Excessive styling will cause more breakage and more shedding than normal. So in the past few weeks, I've done bantu knots, a fro hawk, twist outs, and tried like different methods for doing things, and literally I have lost so much more hair by not sticking to one consistent thing and doing that all the time. Because I was styling, it was like, wow, I am losing a lot more hair. And it's not some excessive amount of hair where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm balding in this one spot now. Like, no, you wouldn't ever be able to tell. But I know when I style on my wash days, it definitely claims a lot more hair. So if you are a heavy styler, if you do like to experiment and switch things up, you might be your own worst enemy, because if you stay consistent and pick one thing and do it over and over again, I noticed that whenever I was doing my twist outs and was very consistent about that, things were smooth sailing. And then when I started styling, it was like, what, girl? We're gonna shed on you. We are going to shed on you. And 8, the last thing I can tell you is that clean parts are something that I struggle with, okay? But they make a difference as well. As far as excessive shedding and any kind of hair loss, breakage, whatever, if you make clean parts in your hair, it makes a difference versus messy parts. I have always been like, oh, if the parts are messy, it doesn't matter. It's fine. But I've noticed whenever I part my hair in a clean way versus in a messy way, it does make a difference. It's just easier to deal with, and you won't have to deal with as many tangles as well. So definitely something to consider if you are a messy parter like me. Then try to make a clean part and see if that helps your hair life out. So those are just the 8 things that I have learned conclusively over my year of being natural. Oh, and number 9, now that I'm thinking about it, Single strand knots are unavoidable. I'm just gonna throw that in there as like a bonus. You cannot get rid of those things. They will come. They will be there. They will always be with you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the trim, the length check, the tips. If you did, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them down below. Y'all know where to go. And come subscribe to my corner of the YouTube universe where I am channeling more natural hair videos and music videos because I sing. And if you do, then I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.